First one, I'm like, it's going to be a good day. Hit the second one. Third one came through. Ended up getting overturned, which kind of bummed me out a little bit. Just means I have to be undeniable, right? If we get 3 white lights, they can't overturn it. So then going into bench. Oh, we didn't ask about bench. So yeah, that's how squats felt.
I said walk us through the day.
Yeah, so
tell us about the bench too.
Going into bench, I felt really good. Opener came through. The second attempt came through. And honestly, I thought I was good for like 205 on the day. But obviously when the second got overturned, again, just have to be undeniable with the start commands and making sure that my elbows are locked out. We played a little bit more conservative, blew it up. So that kind of frustrated me a little bit there because I'm like, there's some kilos on the table, which obviously, reared its ugly head towards the end, which we'll get to. And then going to deads, felt good going through warm-ups. Started to feel myself get a little bit gassed towards the end. Definitely just have to kind of lock that in a little bit more. So then, hey, we hit our third, then we don't leave the door open for somebody else. And so I just remember getting to after that third attempt dead, I'm just like, hey, this is what you get for leaving the door open, right? You can't step on the world stage and think that you can miss lifts and that somebody's not going to make you pay for it. I was just lucky that I was on the right side of fate this time.
Yeah, so, tell us a little bit about the mindset. Like, when you whenever you got your squat overturned, whenever you got the calls on bench, how do you overcome that mentally?
Yeah, it was a new feeling for me because I don't think I've ever missed a lift on a technicality. It's always been just, hey, it wasn't there on that day. And I can live with that. But for it to get called good and then for it to be overturned, like that really stings. And I'd be lying if like mentally it doesn't just like hit you in your gut a little bit. It doesn't affect you in any way. Again, that comes down to sports, right? And so another thing that I just need to dial in even more is just like, hey, next play. Don't let anything get too in your head. Don't harp on it. Once it moves on, just move on and keep going. We all have the same judges, and so I can't complain too much about that. And so it's just on me to be a better athlete, be a better lifter, be a better competitor, and just not let that rattle me. But it's just like, hey, keep your head down and just blow up the next one. I think that's why 195 on bench flew so fast because I was a little mad.
Yeah, you had a chip on your shoulder for sure. You stay positive. You definitely had a moment to reflect on it, but then you stay positive and get up for the next one. When you were talking earlier, you mentioned that you're starting to feel yourself get a little gas. What do you think that was about?
I don't know. I felt great going through it. Again, I think it could also just be that mentality thing, right? You go into it and it's like, okay, your third got overturned, the second got overturned. And so, like, again, going into that mentality of, like, next play, even though net, I kept a positive attitude, I do know that going into deadlifts, I was just a little bit more frustrated than I normally am, and that it takes energy from you, that shifts your focus, doesn't allow you to be as dialed in, and so I think that definitely kind of played a role in it too. Nutrition wise, Alberto did a fantastic job with me this time around. We stayed hydrated, no cramping, anything like that, and so I think it probably, if I had to be honest and self-reflect on myself, it was probably more of a mental thing than anything else, because it's only 9 lifts, it's not that hard to get through.
So obviously you're very happy about winning, right? It's all about the chips, but I don't think you're necessarily so happy about the exact performance, like what you put up in terms of total. But the real question I have is, so somebody had a chance to pull for the win again, right? So last year we had a similar situation. You had a big lead. Somebody put up something crazy to try to pull for the win. They didn't get it. Same thing this year. How does that feel, where you are in a situation where you've done what you could do. Maybe it wasn't the exact performance you wanted, but you finish your lifts, you're in first place, and now somebody's after you, and they can pull for the win, and there's nothing you can do to stop them.
As a competitor, it's extremely frustrating. I try to do, like, just in life in general, I try to be in a position where I never let my fate be in somebody else's hands. I will always bet on myself every single time, because like how dare you complain about the outcome if you let somebody else dictate your fate. And so again, going down to, if I have a 9 for 9 day, the door's not open, right? I allowed that door to be open, and so it was frustrating, but also I understood, like, and I was completely okay with them actually completing that lift because it was in my hands. If I had gone 9 for 9, there wouldn't have been a problem, right? And so it's frustrating. I told Anna after this, I was like, we can't keep meeting like this again, because it was actually the same exact kind of situation as last time. And yeah, that's how the cookie crumbles. I'm glad that it rolled on my side, but the goal is to never let never let somebody else's hands dictate my fate again.
So going back to what we were saying earlier about how, in general, if you miss a lift, it's on strength, right? So if you look at all your previous performances, you're usually going 8 for 9, 9 for 9, once in a while 7 for 9. But when you miss, it's just strength. So here you had 2 of your 3 lifts that you missed were nothing to do with strength, right? On squat, got overturned on depth. Bench, your elbows were soft at the start. What do you think you can do to make sure that doesn't happen?
Just be undeniable, right? I pride myself in being a relatively technical lifter, right? I won't allow you to outwork me on the things that are 100% in my control, right? I'm just not strong enough, I'm not strong enough. But technique you can control. Not jumping a press command you control. Your knees being locked out you can control. All those little things you can control. And so it's just on me to just continue to be better. And it showed me that although I think that I am a pretty technically sound lifter, there's just so much more for me to grow on. And it's a humbling experience, but I think that's what allows you to be hungrier. That's what allows me to come back. Like, I'm already ready to train again, right? Like I'm already ready to train. Just I know there's so much more that I haven't put on the platform. And I say it all the time. It's like we can talk about our lifts in the gym and brag and boast. Like, oh yeah, I hit, what is it, 340 in the gym, which is like 750 or whatever. I did this, I did that. But at the end of the day, the only thing that you get judged on is what you do on those 9 attempts on meet day. And so I just feel like there's so much more in me, and it's just on me to execute. The team around me is great. They gave me everything that I needed, and it just comes down to me at the end of the day.
And what's next? I mean, are you looking forward to having a off season now, a little bit of off season before getting back on that big stage again?
Yeah, I'm definitely ready to train, but I'm not ignorant enough to know that I definitely need a little bit of an off season. Leaving Sheffield, I kind of kept it under wraps, but leaving Sheffield, I was like battling some really bad groin/adductor injuries, and there were days that I'm like, I can't even squat 2 plates, right? But just having good coaching, good PTs, staying the course. No, I knew I was going to be ready on that day, and so allows me to rest up a little bit, allows me to get my mind mentally prepared, and now I have a lot of times to again, go back, fix those technical errors, continue to get stronger, and so everything that I've been working for can come to fruition on those 9 attempt days.
And just one more, this is your second world championship, your second win. When you look back on this era and you think about Malta 2023 World Championships, like what's going to be the thing that sticks out to you the most, that you're the most proud of from your performance?
I think just as frustrated as I am with how I performed, right? If you look at just the blank numbers, at the end of the day, like you can always do something once, right? Doing it twice is the hard part. And to the strictest judges, traveling the world, doing all these things, and so, and then also just being a part of the growth of the sport, right? Last year in South Africa, it was kind of dead. It was like a golf outing or something, and we get here and there's stands, there's people yelling, like they're feeling your energy, and that pushes you to be more. And so to be a part of the growth of a sport, it's extremely humbling, and I'm glad to be a part of it. And I think just the experience of walking outside and like people remember like who your name is, or they saw your YouTube video or your Instagram or whatever, and like you're speaking to them, never met them before, but you're speaking to them as if you guys are long-term friends, and just knowing that you have a positive impact on people's lives just by your energy and how you carry yourself, and knowing that you're doing it genuinely. I think that's probably the thing that I'll cherish the most, is knowing that the hard work isn't going unnoticed, the genuineness isn't going unnoticed, and that how I do things is having a positive impact on people. And again, I think when you're in a position and you have the spotlight, it's your obligation to lead. And so just knowing that I believe, at least at this point in time, I'm leading in a positive direction is cherishing, and just being able to connect with people from across the world that you'd never ever be able to. I wouldn't know my man Penna from, like, I wouldn't know Enna from Hungary. Like I wouldn't know any of these guys if it wasn't for powerlifting, and just soaking in just the blessings. Right? I wouldn't be in Malta right now. I wouldn't be traveling. I've traveled 3 times in a matter of 365 days overseas. Never would happen without it. And so just cherishing being where I am at the present moment is all part of it.
Well, that's awesome. And you're a huge inspiration, man. We're extremely proud of you. And congratulations once again on your second World Championship. And we're looking forward to seeing you do it again next year. Congratulations.
Thank you, my man. Let's go, Team USA. Do it better next time.
Those Swedish fish out of here.
She's gushing over there.
All right, we've got Chelsea Savit, the 69 kilo national champ, just finished in 4th place at the World Championships. Congratulations on your huge performance today, Chelsea. And
Thank you.
First thing I want to ask is just walk us through the day and how it felt, and tell us, all of the accomplishments that you had today.
Okay. So we had a plan to total 530 today. Based on my best gym lifts performed on SBD days, I did 187.5 squat, 127.5 bench, and 215 deadlift. All clean, all done on SBD days. So the plan was to just do that here because they were lifts I knew I was capable of doing on SBD days, and just knowing the environment of the World Championships, the judging is the strictest judging in the world. You can't leave any. Your lifts have to be undeniable, and there's of course the international travel. Had a little bit of a weight cut, so frankly, 530 was just a solid conservative plan based on what I had done in the gym, and we did that. So felt really good to total that. That's just about a 15 kilo PR total from PA Nationals, which was in February, so only in a couple months I added 15 kilos to my total, 2 to my squat, 2.5 to my bench, and 10 to my deadlift. So I feel amazing. I PR'd every lift. I PR'd my total. 530 is a huge total. I think it's now a national American record for the 69 kilo class, and so I feel amazing about hitting PRs and everything, and huge PR total. Executing the plan. Didn't quite execute to the T with that missed opener on deadlift. I think that was just like mental, like, oh wow, that moved up really fast, that happened really fast, and but I was really proud of coming back from that and getting my mind right, because I felt like I was on fire after that 3-for-3 squat, 3-for-3 bench, and knowing that I was, had a strong subtotal going into the deadlift. And a bench gold at that point, so I was like, well, you just got to get your opener deadlift, and then I didn't. So that was a weird mistake for me. But some mistakes you have to make once to never make again, and I've never missed a deadlift opener before, so I'll never make that mistake again. But I was really proud to have gotten my mind right for the second and third deadlifts. I executed them really cleanly. We went up anyway, which is always a risk after missing an attempt. So what I said to myself is that champions make lifts, and champions move on. So I didn't let myself dwell, didn't have time to dwell. The flights were moving really fast, and was really proud of getting that second deadlift in. That was probably my proudest lift because of just coming back from missing that opener deadlift. That was very stressful, and I'm sure it was stressful for everyone who was watching. So
It was stressful, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Mike Z, the head coach, is over here nodding his head.
yeah.
Andre.
Yes.
Andre Grabineski. I think I got it right.
You got it.
You got it right.
You were the game day coach for Chelsea today. You're
Yep.
her husband as well. And do you want to just brag a little bit about the performance that Chelsea had today?
Sure. Well, she did absolutely outstanding today. In the past few years, like this iteration of Chelsea, she's really transformed from having a couple of like little amateurish tendencies to now being like a full professional. So everything she does is like professional level, which she's a veteran of the sport, and she really brings it and executes every time. And you could see that execution really shine through in the deadlift as well this time because I believed in her heavily to be able to go up on that second deadlift after she missed her opener. And that was a gutsy move because if she missed that second one, we would be in big, big trouble, but had to do the champion thing and move up. So champions can overcome setbacks, they overcome their adversity, and they execute when it counts. So just overall, Chelsea can really put it together. She's a grinder, she's a fighter, and she's going to come back next year with even more seasoning and fight tooth and nail to get on that podium.
For
Wow.
Sure. For sure.
I love you.
And Chelsea, one of the things that, I know that you were worried about coming into this competition was the new bench rule. So how were you able to, adapt, and how did you feel how did it feel when you got that first 3 white lights on your first bench?
So a few things. This is actually my third meet doing the competing in the bench with the new rules. And I set myself up for that because I did bench nationals in January. Obviously PA Nationals, where we have international judges. We're at PA Nationals, and then of course World. So this is actually my third meet getting my bench certified, and I know that I'm right on the line, but being on the line is supposed to be fine. So the plan was to open light enough where I could take my grip in as far as I needed to in case there were any issues. So we did that, and then, didn't have any issues, went with the wide grip, but we're prepared to take the grip in if I needed to. So the key was open pretty conservative and be prepared for, getting 2-1 and then it getting overturned. Be prepared. So we were prepared, and we were ready to adapt if we needed to. But as it turned out, the judges liked my wide grip bench that I did at PA Nats and also at Bench Nationals. So it worked out in my favor. And then, of course, strength was really there on bench today. So I was super happy about that 127.5 and bench gold. It was nice to defend that bench gold medal, get that 2 years in a row.
Yeah, that's awesome to get back-to-back gold medal. I mean, you own the bench press in this weight class now. Did you do any special kind of tricks or anything on bench? Any tips and secrets or that you want to reveal for some of the other benchers out there that are borderline or right on the edge of the new bench rule?
Just do a lot of meets where you know that you're going to have them judged by people who are judging according to the new rules. Also, try to train on the competition bench because depending on the squishiness of the bench, depending on the height, depending on the width, it does kind of change that shoulder to elbow angle. So actually one thing I implemented this prep was only training on the competition bench. So it was a little bit of an investment, but powerlifting's a money pit for some of us. So I think it's an investment that will be worth it. But I now train on an Aligo bench, which I have at my home gym now. Home barbell club. It's not my home gym, but they let me keep an Aligo rack there. So yeah, training on that was really valuable because I was able to actually check out my bench on the bench that I was going to be training on. So, and I think it worked out in my favor in terms of strength as well. So.
I was going to say, this is like a pitch for a Alico, but if you're not training on an Alico combo rack, you have to get one because that's the one they use in competition.
Or find a place to train on it so that,
yeah,
you can get a reasonable guesstimate of where your bench is, because At bench nationals this year, in January, I actually expected to bench a lot more than I did. I benched 125, but I was expecting 130 at least, and missed 127 and a half. So the difference is I made sure I was training on that competition bench more often. So whether that's going to a gym to train on the competition bench, or, you know, just finding a way to get that extra level of specificity so that you can get those extra 2.5 kilos, because that was literally the difference. I benched 125 in January and I just did 127 and a half. So, you know, at this level, the details like that matter. The fine tuning and the details. It's all in the details. So, yeah.
So squat went phenomenal. You went 3 for 3, had a PR. Bench also 3 for 3, had a PR. So I know initially your opening deadlift was 200 kilos. And when I saw that, I was like, wow, that's pretty heavy. That's 5 kilos under your best deadlift ever. Then I look and see that you changed it, and now you're opening with your best deadlift. That you
I
ever
didn't
hit
change
in
it.
comp.
Yeah.
He changed it and Mike changed it.
Yeah. We were making some
They didn't
moves.
tell me.
Yeah.
I saw that they increased the weight on my warm-up, and I was like, I see what you guys are doing. You're not telling me that it's more weight, but I can count.
Yeah, so what was your like mentals like coming into that? Like you're opening with your like best competition deadlift ever.
So deadlift has been I hit my biggest PR on deadlift this prep. I mean, 10 kilo difference between PA Nationals and this meet. And that was, 3 months ago? So deadlift is my lift where I feel like I have a ton of progress to make. I think that my squat and bench are, I would say, more advanced lifts. Like, I've been really technically solid on those lifts for a really long time, and it's just a matter of like fine-tuning some details and frankly building some muscle. Like, they're really advanced lifts for me, my squat, my bench, but I really feel like my deadlift has a lot to grow, and it has grown a lot since we figured out that sumo is my lift, and also we figured out how to train it so that I don't beat up my hips too much. I train basically half sumo, half conventional. So it's been going really well, and it's been on the climb. So 205, I've hit for a double in sumo, and pretty comfortable weight. So, and I believe in my coaches, and they put it on the bar. I was like, well, I'm going to do it. And then I missed it, but I missed it because I wobbled at the top because it moved so fast. So, yeah. So I actually wasn't nervous about it.
Okay.
I trusted them.
So you were saying earlier how you went up even though you missed, like, which is a gutsy move. What was the game plan if you had hit that? Was it the same thing, just
I don't
small
know. What was
jumps?
the game plan?
The game plan, we were trying to make moves to nudge our way into second place. She would have ultimately needed like 220, but we were trying to push Marte up to miss her third deadlift to give Chelsea an opening, but it ended up not being in the cards. But that was the thinking for a bit. But then also Clara was able to show up and pull for the third place anyway, and I think that Clara, with what she showed, she had more in the tank on her third anyways, so even if like we went up a little more on the third to like 217, we think Clara still would have had it anyway.
Yes, I fully agree with what you're saying. That's what I was thinking when I was watching it. But so obviously, like, if you had made the podium top 3, like, that would have been nice. But like overall, how happy are you with hitting this big PR and hitting like the numbers that you were thinking you would hit? Like, is that to you like a perfectly successful meet?
I feel phenomenal. I'm really proud of what I did today. I was a little bit nervous because I did broadcast this meet and the fact that I was competing in it quite a bit. I posted about it on LinkedIn. Like, all my coworkers knew about it. Obviously posted about it on Instagram, Facebook. Like, I had a lot of family come out, and I feel really grateful that I had so much family come out to this meet. So a lot of people were watching, and I broadcast it. And when you do that, you're putting yourself in the spotlight, and you put a little bit of pressure on yourself to perform. And so, you know, I knew that everyone was watching me, but I also knew that, you know, they care about me, like whether or not it goes well or not. They're cheering for me. So I had a huge cheer squad. Really grateful for them. I love you, Mom. She's clapping over there. And yeah, I'm glad I was able to do that under the conditions of IPF World, under the conditions of the new bench rules, the conditions of the deep competition. I'm really happy. I mean, I went into this meet saying if I total 530, hit PRs on all my lifts, what can I say? And it's not enough. I mean, I tied for third, so really close, and I keep climbing. So I feel good. I feel really good.
Yeah, I mean, just for perspective, that was 18 and a half kilos under the world record total. Like, you're within, like...
It's not that far away.
Yeah, it's crazy that fourth place, and you're that close to the best total ever in the weight class.
Yeah, that's not that far away. Yeah. So I feel great. Would have loved to be on the podium, but there's some things that are out of your control. So I controlled everything that I could, except that deadlift opener. I don't know if that actually would have changed the outcome, though, if I got that opener, based on what they said. Might have still done 215 on my third. So.
Okay, we've got a question from special guest correspondent from Arizona, Miriam Elm.
Hey, Chelsea. I just wanted to ask, just for everyone watching, who's been watching you for years, when you first started out in the sport, number one, what brought you to this sport? Just kind of taking you back.
Okay. Actually, so my aunt who's here, she's not in this room right now, she is into bodybuilding. I have a first cousin. Her name is Ariel Kadar. She's an IFBB pro and won the Arnold twice in the fitness division and has competed at the Olympia and placed multiple times. So her mom was really into bodybuilding growing up in the scene. And there was one point in time during high school where she was like, Chelsea, I think you'd be good at powerlifting. She said that to me, and I just remembered that. And then, put that away. And then I was also a gymnast. I was a gymnast for a very long time. I was pretty competitive, but competed through my freshman year of college. And then after my freshman year of college, I was looking for stuff to do. Didn't want to do gymnastics anymore. And I learned that Yale, which is where I went to college, had a powerlifting team, a club powerlifting team. And I remembered that my aunt had said that. So then I was like, I'll go check this out. And that's where it started. So that was back in 2011. And then I kind of casually lifted with them. I didn't know anything about competing. I know that they went to meets, but I was just like, what do you mean you go compete in a squat, bench, deadlift? You just lift in the gym, whatever. You don't need to go compete. I lift. I don't need to compete to tell people that I lift. But then I met this guy back in 2013. And I was like, oh, yeah, I powerlift. I'm on the team. He's like, well, have you ever competed? I'm like, well, no. He's like, well, you're not a powerlifter unless you compete in powerlifting. I'm like, oh, damn.
They said she doesn't even lift.
Yeah, he told me I didn't even lift. And I was like, I'm going to prove it to you that I lift. And then on our second date, we went to the gym. And he fixed up my technique. And I was pretty good. And he was like, you should compete. You should compete. I'm like, okay, well, then let's prep me for a meet. And then I had my first meet a few weeks later, and then I've been hooked. So.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to a young person who hears about powerlifting and maybe wants to get involved in their first meet, or even attend?
Watch a meet. Meets are exciting, even local meets. Find someone who lifts and talk to them. We all love talking about lifting. It's our favorite thing. And try to find a community. Try to find a gym where there's powerlifters. There's more and more these days. There weren't that many when I started. But in most major cities, there's, going to be a powerlifting gym or some powerlifters. You can hit them up. So many ways these days. It was pretty different 10 years ago. But now I feel like it's less of a niche sport. It's getting to be a little bit more well-known thanks to Powerlifting America media team, making us seem legit, SBD. We're like professionals now, professional athletes. So going to be in the World Games, which is awesome.
And Chelsea, how many World Championships have you been to?
This is my third.
And was this one different from the rest of the World Championships that you've been to?
I guess it was different in that this was my best meet ever. So, yeah, best meet ever. I was just more prepared, more seasoned. I made an amateur mistake, but I didn't make many amateur mistakes.
Do you think you're having more fun?
Absolutely. Yeah, having a lot more fun. Yeah. And not taking gutsy attempts, taking reasonable attempts. I have internalized that meet day strategy is actually really important. And maybe a previous self would have begged for some ego gutsy attempts, but now I really see the value of a proper meet day strategy to just package all of your hard work in the gym and in your lifestyle, everything that you do for powerlifting, all the hard work that you've put in. Like, you need a solid meet day strategy and meet day execution to show the world what you've got. So, yeah, you've got fewer chances to show all of your hard work, and so you really need to figure out. And it takes time. It takes time, and it takes making mistakes over the years as well. I made the deadlift opener mistake. Won't make that one ever again. So it takes a lot of practice, a lot of years. But yeah, I really, really value the meet day strategy more now than I used to, because I realize you may be the strongest lifter, but you may not win if you have poor attempt selection and poor execution. So I don't consider myself to be the strongest lifter out there, but I think that my ultimate placement is based on proper, just bringing the package together on meet day and showing my best that I've got. So, and that's also based on having amazing coaches.
And just how fun is it to be out there in these battles, like with Clara and Marta, and just in the 69 kilo weight class, which is one of the deepest and most competitive in the world?
I feel like I was a little shielded from it. Like, my handlers kind of just, I trust them. You have to have a handler that you really trust, and I trust that they're doing all of that thinking for me, so that the only thing that I need to do is just walk up to the bar, lift the weight according to the rules, listen to commands and stuff. So I think the value of an amazing handler is the fact that they do all of that thinking for you. So even though it's a competition, you still have to show out and perform, and that's all in your control. So, yeah.
And do you think that you were the most confident coming into this World Championships than you in your previous two?
More confident? Yeah. I think my confidence is growing the more solid performances that I put on, and I think it showed in my performance today. Huge PR total, PR'd everything.
Yeah.
Went 8 for 9, but got my target total. So, yeah.
And going forward, what's your goals for this weight class?
Going forward?
Yeah.
I would love to get on the podium. We thought that 530 was my best shot at getting on the podium this year. We know that the competition is getting stronger too, so can't wait to get back to the gym and keep building my total. So as far as goals, I would love to get back to the World Championships and get on that podium. So I'm going to keep fighting for that.
That's awesome. I think that if you set your mind to it, you'll do it. And
Yeah.
you've proven that over and over.
Yeah.
And you have just an awesome comeback story. It's very inspiring, and we're extremely proud of you. So
Oh, thank you.
congratulations once again on your big performance, and we'll let you get out of here.
Thanks so much. I'm hungry, so appreciate you guys.
That's it.
All right, let's eat. Oh, look how much I was sweating.
I know.
Good job.
Thank you.
You did great. Yeah, you did great.